Hey everybody, my name is April and this is Thriftynerdymom. Welcome to my channel. So today's video is a DIY Christmas Disney ornaments. I made more than one personally, but this is in collaboration with a few other YouTubers and I'll have them linked below. I've seen what they've made and they are incredible, so you should really go check them out as well. But for me today, I am making because I'm extra, 3 Star Wars ornaments. It all goes together like in a set, and that's how I'm justifying doing 3. Anyways, so 3 Christmas Star Wars ornaments. But yeah, so before we jump in, please like and subscribe, join our family, watch everyone else's video, and we'll see you in a bit. So for this project, you're going to need a large silver ornament and then 2 smaller ornaments. One of them will need to be silver. The other one is going to be fully painted, so it doesn't really matter what color it is. So we are going to start off with the large silver ornament, which is going to be a Death Star. To begin, we are going to tape off little sections on the ornament to create straight lines. I'm going to start by taping off the middle section of the ornament, and as you'll see, like, I do 2 strips in the middle, leaving a little gap line in between the 2 strips. After applying the first strip, I am applying the second strip, leaving a small gap in between to create a line to make a middle kind of line for the Death Star. I do suggest kind of taking your time as you tape and make sure that your line is straight. Also, I recommend just attaching the top piece of the tape before pushing down the bottom part of the tape. And here it is all put on, and now to work on the little square panels of the Death Star. Well, actually, oh yeah, I am working on the square panels. First, I'm going to apply another horizontal stripe of tape before applying the vertical strips to create squares. Once again, work slowly and only push down the top until you get it all on, and then push down the bottom. I discovered after I secured the bottom horizontal line that it was much easier for me to tear off strips to make a straight line on the top. And I'll continue just tearing off little strips and putting it around the ball until I make a full taped line. Here I'm taking a large paint bottle to draw on a circle for the area where the laser kind of shoots out from the Death Star. If anyone knows the actual name to that thing, comment down below and let me know, because we can't figure it out. We just call it the thing that shoots out the lasers. But I am drawing a circle to detail that later on. So to create the vertical lines in order to make the square panels, I am cutting small strips and then cutting them in half to make more of a smaller straight line, I guess. A thin is the word, not small, thinner line for the square panels. I'm going to continue to cut thinner strips to put all around the ornament except for the very back, and I'll show you in a minute what I am doing on the very back. Here I have it all taped down except for the very back where I'm going to remove those lines because I am going to apply a space theme onto the back. I'm using my black pavement. It's kind of a chalkboard color paint to emulate the night sky. So I'm painting the back section that pavement color and waiting till it dries so I can move on to the next step. I'm taking white paint onto a dry brush and then flicking the paintbrush to where it creates a speckled look onto the black color, emulating stars. After that section is dry, I am going to use silver puff paint. Really, you can use silver acrylic paint if you wanted, but I had silver puff paint on hand. I'm using the silver puff paint to coat the silver ornament to give it 2 different shades of silver. you're going to want to let the first coat dry and then add more puff paint to add a second coat onto the ornament. After that second coat of silver is dry, you will need to, or well, I am removing the tape off the ornament. It's oddly really satisfying when you start to peel it off of the ball. And this is it with all the tape removed. You can definitely see the two tones of silver on it. And now I'm going to start detailing the circle area where the lasers shoot out. Once again, if you know what it's called, let me know down below. So here I'm going to outline the circle first with the puff paint. This section I do recommend that you use puff paint because puff paint gives you more of a texture. I add a glob of paint just to kind of color in that circle. And now I'm just going to add a more detail line onto the middle. And after the middle section of the circle is dry, I'm just going to add a large dab of puff paint in the middle. And then kind of straight lines, not straight lines, but like just lines all throughout the circle to give a little bit more detail. Now on the back where the galaxy look is, I am adding the phrase, "That's no moon." It's kind of my favorite phrase from New Hope. But yeah, I'm use pencil to kind of sketch out my wording first, and then I'm using a blue metallic marker. I just picked mine up from Walmart. But you could definitely use silver if you wanted to, or gold, but I just like the way the blue looked. Now I'm just taking some glow-in-the-dark puff paint to add glow-in-the-dark stars over the galaxy stars. You let that dry before you hang it. And now let's move on to the Princess Leia ornament. So here I'm measuring out 24 inches of brown ribbon. You will need to do this 6 times, 3 pieces for each braid. So here I glue the top of the 3 pieces of ribbon to secure it together as I braid it. And you are going to braid the ribbon just like you would hair. It's a little bit more finicky because you need to make sure that the ribbon kind of lays flat, but it's very, very simple. As long as you know how to braid hair, you'll know how to braid ribbon. I continue to braid until I get to the very end, and then I will start on the second braid. So now it's time to apply both braids onto the ball. I'm using the line of the ornament to kind of show me where to place the middle part of the bun. It will make it a little bit more even than it would if I was just kind of free eyeing it without the line. So first you're going to glue down the middle, and then for every little rotation or circle you make for the bun, you are probably going to add 2 dabs of hot glue just to keep the braid secure on the ball. Ornament, ball ornament, you know. I believe I make 5 rotations with the braid before I start to stack it up onto, just to make it more full. That way you can see it as it just sits. You can see the bun coming out from the ornament. Now I'm going to work on Princess Leia's hairline. We have the buns, but we do need to add a little bit of hair on the top and a little bit to the back. I'm using a chocolate colored paint right here, but later I realized it needs to be a little bit darker to match the ribbon, so I'll add just a little bit of black. But if you need brown paint anyways, I just suggest kind of looking for a darker color paint. You see here that I add more of a V to the hairline. I do fix this towards the end because after I got it all painted, I realized it looked more like Padme than it did Leia. I did add 2 coats to the hairline to make sure there was no see-through spots with the ornament. And like I said, I did add a little bit of black to that brown paint to make it a darker color. And now I just kind of start on her face. I use just kind of a pale skin color that I picked up from Walmart. You can get these bottles of acrylic paint for 50 cents a piece. I have no problem with them really, and you can get a fair variety of colors for a cheap price. Here I'm just kind of filling in her nose with a little bit of brown to give it a little bit more definition. Now I'm just adding the white to her eyes. You'll want to do layers, especially for eyes. You'll want to always start with the white and then the iris and then kind of the outline of the eye. While I had white paint on my brush, I decided to go ahead and paint her robe dress. Once again, I'm not finding the correct words for this, but her little robe dress thing that she wears in A New Hope. Once again, I add a little bit of brown paint to add just a little bit of definition. That way you can see where it kind of folds over. Now I'm going to use some pink paint to add the bottom layer of her lips. You are going to want to paint her top lip darker than the bottom. I just added a little bit of a smirk to her lips because, I mean, it's Princess Leia. You gotta add a smirk. So now I'm going to add the iris color of the eyes, which is brown. And then while I have brown on my paintbrush, I'm just going to fill in her eyebrows. Now I'm going to add the pupils to her eyes. Once again, work your way down and then up. I said the pupils, but I guess I decided to add the eyelashes first. But while I had the black, I do add the pupils. So here you see that my R2 ornament is smaller than my Leia. This doesn't necessarily have to be what you want to do. I was going to do a Leia Invader, but I decided not to, and I only had a smaller silver ornament. So, starting on the R2, you're kind of going to start like you do the Death Star. You need to half the silver with some tape. That way you can have silver on the top and white on the bottom. I did use 2 coats of white paint, let it dry, and then take off the tape. Now I'm just going to take some blue paint. I suggest a darker blue paint than what I'm using, but I'm just using what I got on hand. I'm taking blue paint and adding a line in between the white and the silver to give R2 some detail. Now I'm just adding some little squares and rectangles. You could definitely use some tape on this area if you wanted to, if you had a bigger ball. But since my ball was smaller, it was a lot easier for me just to freehand squares and rectangles. Here I'm just adding some paint squares onto the top for more detail. These are going to be just a little bit wonky. They're not going to be perfect little squares because the ornament does kind of come in at a point. But as long as it kind of appears to be straight, you're all good. Next, I'm going to add some dots to R2 using my favorite method, just dipping an eraser into some paint and creating perfect little circles. I did one for the white, did one for the red, and now I'm going to do one for the black. And these are the 3 ornaments that I made hanging all together on my Christmas tree. I definitely love the Death Star. It's very, very cool. Definitely recommend using a bigger ball just because it's easier to add details. Leia is my favorite too, and then R2 is just really, really cute. So that was it. Thank you for sticking with me. This one was a little bit longer than usual, but I am so proud of these. I really, really like these. I am gifting them to a friend because my tree isn't quite Star Wars themed. And plus the Death Star takes up quite a bit of room. But it is super cute, and she's a huge Star Wars fan, so I know she'll enjoy them. But yeah, thank you for sticking with me. Comment below and just let me know who your favorite Star Wars character is. We're not counting Baby Yoda because Baby Yoda is everyone's favorite character right now. So other than Baby Yoda, who is your favorite Star Wars character? But thank you so much for watching. We will see you again tomorrow.